fellow travelers, and welcome to another episode of Vertical Stars Podcast fourth season. My loyal listeners, thank you for continued support. Enjoy this amazing interview because Brandi Burkhardt boards the mothership to discuss her new album, Just Like This. Now, come on board as we go traversing the stars. Hi, Miss Burkhardt. Thank you for coming to Vertical Stars Podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Really my pleasure. So, I always start with a question of inspiration to inspire your love for music and who your earliest influences.
Oh, earliest influences are my parents' music, probably from the 70s. I love some 70s rock and roll. My dad used to buy albums based off the cover, which you can't really do nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, but he had a great album collection. But yeah, I also grew up like loving the 80s sound. Like I loved, well, I guess Fleetwood Mac fits into both eras. So yeah, I kind of yeah, I run the gamut really from my taste.
Mm. That's kind of interesting because you talk about the importance. Like back in the day, there'd be like the albums, you had your EPs. Nowadays, everything is streaming. There's very little. I'm trying to think if I even know any record stores in my area anymore, and I probably do somewhere, but I just don't know about them. So does that change how you digest or how you're taking in music now that you don't have like the albums now is all like streaming? Um,
I guess so. I mean, I used to love, I mean, my day was the day of the tapes. So we would sit there with those little folded pieces of paper and like learning all the lyrics. Like that was a fun thing that we would do. Now you could just get it on the screen, which is a lot easier, I have to say.
mm. Well, I will
There's so
say.
many good things about how music is transformed.
Well, I will say my memory of the '80s is getting the cassettes and then having it like reel out because and then have to try to re-spool the thing all over again,
Yes,
try to
like
get
with
more
the
in.
pencil or yes, yes.
I don't miss that, I will say.
Yes, agreed. You're right. It's nice to think about, like in retrospect, like, oh, wasn't that a good time? But no, it wasn't really a good time.
Yeah, because all the people are like, "Oh, I miss the old days when you could listen to it on cassettes." Like, do you? Do you really? Or having to rewind
Really?
to that song that you wanted to listen to again over and over again instead of just being hit replay.
Yes, and like having to wait on the radio until like the favorite song is played again. Like
Hmm.
I remember I was like in love with the song November Rain when it came out, and
Yep,
then
yep,
I
yep,
would
yep.
wait for it to come on MTV because the video was so epic, and yeah, just wait for it.
Yeah, and like and the same thing. If you like, or you have, there'll be like one minute you have like that one song you like, but you gotta wait for the whole album and about by the whole, and you're like, I just want the one song. But
I know,
nowadays,
actually,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Back in the day, I used to think like, why can't you just go to a record store and just choose the songs you want on your CD and then you could just print it and then move on with your life. And like now we do that all the time.
Now, if you only had thought ahead, you could have been the first to do the streaming. You'd have been the very first. Would have been Napster back in the day as the
Yeah,
first attempt.
exactly. I was way ahead of the game.
Well, I mean, you've had an amazing career so far. You're an actor, you on screens, on television, on Broadway, and you're also a musician. Now, that's kind of like I'm a baseball fan, so I always think of Shohei Ohtani, who has to pitch and hit at the same time. So they talk about him having to split his attention between being a pitcher and being a hitter, so no one else can really do it.
Yeah.
So how are you able to split your attention between these different sides of yourself and do it all well?
That is a really good question. I wish I could do everything better. And I'm thinking like if I focused more, maybe it would be better. But then sometimes the overthinking is the problem. So I kind of like that I have a distraction because each, not a distraction, but different mediums
Yeah.
to have different voices so that I can, one influences the other. It's funny that you use Otani as an example. I mean, that takes some stamina and
Yeah.
some serious focus. I'm actually singing the national anthem for the Dodgers on the 21st,
Oh, really?
their final regular season game. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
I'm excited.
That's an awesome connection. I didn't realize that you were doing it. That was just some good connection on my part, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
That is
By
awesome.
osmosis.
And so when you think about music, as a singer and also as an actor, obviously when you sing on you're on Broadway, you're probably gonna be singing as well. Is that like the perfect medium for you? Is there an aspect of acting that helps you with singing? Is there a part of singing that helps you with acting?
I mean, I think so. It's all storytelling, right? The difference is I get to use my voice and what I want to talk about in the music that I write. And that's
Hmm.
been a real interesting journey, especially in putting out this EP. The song that was supposed to come out on August. 22nd. I wound up pushing to September because
Mm.
it didn't right feel like at the right time for it. So, but it also it's the song that kind of makes me most nervous because I make choices in it that I wouldn't make all the time.
Hmm.
So that's been like a challenge to tell my own story and to feel comfortable doing it, as
Yeah.
opposed to hiding behind a mask or somebody else's writing.
Is it weird for you then to, I'm trying to think of the best phrase. I'm going to go with the word expose yourself to, in a way in music that you don't, I mean, like you said, in acting, it's a mask. You're playing somebody else. So even though it's you, your emotions, it's still your emotions filtered through somebody else's words, somebody else's character. The music is all just you. I mean, how do you make that decision on what you're willing to share with us?
I guess it wasn't clear to me what I was doing until I decided to put it out. And then it's funny, right before I go to distribute the song, I like freak out a little inside and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to remix it. I have to do, and it's really just the nervousness of putting yourself out there, as I've learned. My partners, my music partners, and the mixer, he's like, really nothing's changed, but you're hearing it differently because yeah, you're changed. Something about you has changed. So yeah, yeah, it's an interesting it's funny to think about because when you're in the moment and you're writing the song, it's about a moment. And then when you have to go back and look at it in retrospect, it's like I'm not living in that moment anymore. So there is a level of like going back to that to like kind of give that feeling that I was feeling at the time I wrote it. So
I mean, that's interesting because that is, I guess that is acting. I mean, when you go to a concert, you listen to someone sing, and they're singing, the lyrics, and they're getting all involved. You do sometimes, I guess, maybe forget as an audience member, that is acting because they may not be feeling that positive or whatever at that given moment, but yet you have to convey it for your audience because I assume a lot of the singing and making it work is trying to show the audience the believability of that moment. I am feeling in love with this individual, even though that's maybe somebody you cut or broke up with like months ago.
right, I know. Like I often think that about artists who write about their relationships that are in the public eye and stuff, and I'm like, oh, you have to think about that over and over and over again. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be saddled with that. So I don't know. But
So,
you get
so
to be the hero in your own story too. So it's like that it works.
yeah, in the lyrics, you make the other person the jerk, right? And be like,
Exactly.
they were
Yeah.
horrible.
I wrote this.
Right.
Write your own song.
So your upcoming EP, if America is just like this, just slash like slash this, right?
hmm
So when you're thinking about making your EP, when do you know it's ready for consumption? Like, was there like how often did you go through different drafts of the thinking, no, not right, not right, and when was it ready in your mind to share with people?
It's funny. I didn't know I was going to be ready to release something. So, and then I had a couple songs that all felt really cohesive. And then I went back and listened to everything because I have a bunch of songs that were finished. And I thought, oh, wow, all these kind of fit together and they kind of stood out on their own. And from there, I kind of said, well, I can't put these couple out without this bunch too. So then, it was going to be just three songs and then it wound up being six. And I was like, well, you know what? It's not doing me any good sitting on my hard drive. I should just commit to it. And once I decided to do it, I was like, okay, I promised myself, so that's even when I get a little like, eek, I don't want to share that one. Yeah, I've made a promise to myself, so I gotta follow through.
So is it like ripping off a band-aid? You're like, I put it out there as soon as I think about it because I don't want to go back and now second guess myself as it's out there.
Well, that was the hard thing about switching the dates of the two songs. That Up All Night comes out August 22nd, and then in September it's going to be Stay the Night. And I flipped those, but I felt bad about it because I had already committed to an order, and I kind of already shared the order. And then I was like, but you know what? I, I, things happen, and
Hmm.
sometimes you got to roll with it.
So in the exploration of yourself as a musician, right, and a singer and a writer, did you kind of just fall into your voice or the voice that you have for your music, or is it just because of how your voice sounds or whatever, it just lends itself to the sound that you created?
I think it's a little of that. We all have our uniqueness. You want to lean into that.
Mm,
But I also think my music feels like me. It has my kind of energy. It's a little brighter and like it feels very youthful. But that's just my perspective. I'm a very optimistic person, and
mm.
that's just who I am. And I mean, I like some emo stuff. Don't get me wrong. Um, but I don't know if that's what people want from me because of who I am and how I present. So I think it's just being a little bit aware of yourself in that regard. Yeah.
So when you're thinking about the lyrics that you're writing, how much of your lyrics are for you to get something out of your system to think about it? How much is because your audience, what you think would make them feel better about things? So how much of your music is tr something that maybe truly you, 100% you? How much is it what you want audiences to walk away with from you?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't want it to be a vanity project. I didn't want it to be like, oh, me just telling my story because for me, like, nobody wants to hear that, Talk to your best friend, go to therapy. So I wanted to have some perspective as to why I was sharing it. And that was important to me. Yeah, I think that's something I am aware of. You also don't want, like, nobody wants to listen to, I don't know. I don't want to listen to like complaining or like, so I was kind of a little crafty about the perspective that I was taking as the writer. Yeah.
Mm. So as you mentioned, there's 6 songs in your new album. Is there B-sides we're talking about as well that are eventually going to come out?
I do have more. I'm kind of I've committed to this far and these six, and then I was gonna maybe take a break until the spring and kind of take a couple months to regroup and see what's gonna happen next year. Yeah.
So one of your songs that I got, 'cause I had a good fortune to listen to your music, which is fantastic. Thank you for the
Oh,
opportunity.
okay. Yeah.
One of the songs is "Back in Time," backslash, and I guess it's
Yeah.
back in time, but with the slashes,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
a great song. It's was my favorite of the 6.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so the concept of the song is that love takes you back in time, which is I think very kind of interesting. So can you kind of dive into your thoughts on what that means to go back to be brought back into love, time through love?
Well, for me personally, it was about like looping back into a relationship that just probably I shouldn't have, and how easily we can remember things differently when shiny object is in front of you. So, and the choice we make is like a little bit of a moment of weakness, but then you kind of love it because it's everybody loves to revisit. Everybody
Mm,
loves nostalgia. I think there's something comforting about it. So that's kind of where that came from. And then I really love the part, I'm a record you're spinning, because that's what it feels like to me all the time. Like,
mm.
whoa, wait, hold on. How did I get back here? Wait, I'm back here, and then
Mm.
you kind of come to your senses. But, that's just the beginning of the story.
So, in your opinion, then, is that a positive aspect of love, or is that more like residual of the prior that you felt?
Well, I mean, that was part of my story. I mean, that's just the beginning moment of the journey through the six singles. So, the last song kind of gets me to another place. So this is the first looping back into the cycle. Yeah. So
So the person who inspired the song, did you when you finish it, you sending them back, be like, "This is about you."
no, I would never give them the satisfaction.
That is awesome. So as long,
Never.
but so you have like 20 people like thinking about it, like, is that
Exactly.
me?
Nope.
So obviously, a part of releasing an album is the tour. Are we gonna
Mm.
go? Are we heading on tour?
I do have some dates that were put out to me. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna do a couple of gigs in November to kind of get it all the kinks worked out, and then that might be what the spring is looking like. Yeah.
Is this your first tour?
In this regard, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've done concert tours in symphony halls and stuff like
Right, right,
that.
right, right.
This will be a very different thing. Yes.
So
Yeah.
what are you looking forward to most from it?
I think it'll be fun to just see other artists on the roster, and it's really comforting. It feels a little solitary when you're doing everything and you're pushing it all out. And I just love being in community with other artists and just being able to talk shop and come up with ideas. Like that's where I get fed, where my soul lives. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So when is the whole album going to be released?
October 17th is the whole EP. And then from there, we will discuss what's next. Yeah.
Now, as a lover of the 70s and 80s music, are we going to have a record version and a cassette version or stream
Oh,
solely
I
streaming?
hadn't thought of that. That's a good idea. That sounds good to me. I don't know.
Well,
Do people make tape players anymore?
I don't know if they make cassettes, but they I know was it the albums are like the vintage restaurant stores for these vintage albums. I know they're like
Yeah.
the big thing, the like the hip. I have the album version, which is supposed to have a better sound. I don't know why, but supposedly it does.
There's something about analog. It's little it's warmer and I think it's just the way the tape rubs together. It's just like
Hmm.
there's something about it. Yeah. It's very subtle, but I think people can hear it
I
for sure.
you probably need a more practiced ear than I have. It would my guess. I'm not sure I can pick up the difference between like music, digital music, and like a cassette or whatever. But at the same time, I'm not sure. I'm as practiced as I probably could be in knowing. It's been so many years now since I've heard a cassette.
I mean the same. I can't see HD. I'm like
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to see HD, quite honestly. You're like a little mystery.
Well, yeah. I
Little
mean,
filter on there.
there's people pick that like this like CGI like that doesn't look real. I'm like it looks fine to me. I remember when they were puppets.
But I liked when it was puppets.
They were better as puppets, in many
Yeah,
ways.
yeah.
But I think which is very cool. And so in October you said that the album comes out, and I assume we're gonna have are you gonna have radio play as well?
Yes, I mean I've been on some radio stations in Europe and in the UK, but we're working on that too.
That is cool. And when you're on in these films as well and television shows and whatnot, do you kind of be like, I could have a singing part too, you kind of like drop that in now that you could just have me singing somewhere a couple of my lines.
It's so funny. I mean, now that I look back on it, a couple of the shows that I have been on, I did sing. But I didn't get the job for that reason. They just wound up writing it in because I played a singing mermaid on Passions. She eventually started singing to seduce men. It's very strange. Well, I guess mermaids do that. So, and then on Heart of Dixie, we used to do a lot of musical numbers. So, yeah. They'll work it in.
So it so the audience that you had for like Hard and Dixon that major, do you see them as this in a similar vein as this audience you're gonna have for the album? Is that more country or like how do you
No,
compare that?
that's interesting. Because I've just been treating this as a separate audience. I mean, I hope my Heart of Dixie people will love it. But maybe they're more down home. I do have a song that I released last year that kind of leans a little country. And country nowadays kind of crosses over too.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Music has definitely changed in how we're not choosing shelves anymore,
Yeah.
essentially, but we are choosing playlists. So
Hmm.
that's it's an interesting thing to think about. I don't know. I'm kind of letting the audience come to me and I'm just sharing with an open heart and like, this take it or leave it.
That's cool.
I mean, I give it to you. Yeah.
That's cool. And like I said, you're also had a we're in a movie called Friendship as well, not too long ago. So you're also like this, you're a movie star and a musician. So what was that experience like as well?
Yeah, oh my gosh, it was so wonderful. I just adore Paul Rudd. He's so funny. And it was so wonderful to be on that set. Everybody was so open. So many times I looked around and I was like, how are they letting you do this? Are we being supervised? And it was like a really wonderful experience. Yeah.
That's cool. And like I said, and obviously everyone like Paul Rudd is obviously from all those Ant-Man films. Does he seem to have the ego that someone at that level you would think?
Not even a little bit. He was just so down to earth. Like even when we wrapped after the day was over, he'd knock on my door and say good night. Like you don't have to do that. Like you just go home because you have. But he was really sweet. We actually we talked a lot about like the Ghostbusters trailer had come out that morning, and he talked a lot about his kids and his daughter, and yeah, so it was really great.
Did you send him a copy of the EP so you can listen to
I
it?
did not.
Yeah, I can imagine like if I had like an EP like you have and the songs are fantastic. I kind of feel like I would find a way to weave that into every conversation I had. Like, oh, by the way, look at what I listened to recently.
Well, I should just keep you with me and you can do it. That would be very helpful, actually.
That'd be fantastic. So,
Yeah.
so what is next for you? Either musically or as an actor, I guess anything that you're doing, because apparently you're doing everything. So,
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm excited about the Dodgers game. I just did the Orioles here in
oh,
Maryland.
I'm a wicked Orioles fan.
You
I'm actually
are?
wearing a Cal Ripken shirt right now. Actually, my T-shirt is Cal
You are
Ripken.
not. Did you do
Yeah.
that on purpose?
No, I didn't know. See, Cal Ripken. I
Oh
didn't.
my gosh,
I've been
crazy.
an Oriole fan since 1988, so I've been a long time Oriole fan. And this shirt was from when we went to Camden Yards the first year it opened. So it's the
Oh
Cal Ripken shirt
my
from it.
gosh.
Yeah, love the Orioles.
That's amazing. Well, I was glad to do it because I had thrown out the first pitch years and years ago, and it went
Wow.
right into the dirt, and the whole stadium went, oh, you know. Um, so I was really happy that I got a redo in the right in the right part. I didn't have to pitch. Who was letting me pitch?
Okay, if you don't mind, can I ask you some questions about this? Because that is, for some reason, that's the
Yeah,
most fascinating
sure.
thing possible. Because mostly as a nerdy Oriole fan. So, the pitch that you had was in Camden Yards.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that must have been so fantastic. Do you remember who
It
you threw the pitch to?
it was the Oriole bird.
Oh, very cool.
At the time, I was Miss Maryland Teen USA, so
Oh,
I
wow.
had on heels and a skirt and a crown, and I I just walked right out to the pitcher's mound. First of all, I didn't know I didn't have to go that far,
Yeah.
so there's that. And then everybody kept telling me to throw it hard, so I threw it hard, but right into the
Well,
dirt.
the question I always have is when you're throwing the first pitch, right? And you know ahead of time, obviously, there's not you don't spring it up the first day. Do you practice ahead of time, or do you
I
just like do
didn't.
it?
I somebody should. My dad started telling me like, "Oh, didn't you practice?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. I just
Oh,
didn't even think about it. I thought I was gonna toss it. I like normally. I think like I've seen presidents do it. They just toss it, right? So that's what I thought I was gonna do. But then when I got there, everybody's like, throw it hard," and then I got like super self-conscious. So then I changed my approach. Really, I should have just
hmm.
trusted myself.
Yeah, that is incredible. Like I said, I've been an Orioles fan for such a long time. I was born actually in Baltimore, Maryland, so that's
Oh,
my father was a big fan, so he got me into watching the Orioles. And I will say this year has been highly disappointing, but other than that, I've been happy the last few years.
yes, yes, that's true. I actually, yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah, in LA, you have an album come out in October. You had a friendship come out. What else is going on with you?
Mamma Mia is reopening on Broadway, so that's actually happening right now, which is
Very
very
cool.
exciting. Yeah, so I got to go see the show with the cast that I was in the show with, and it was just like no time had passed at all. It was really wonderful. Yeah.
It's awesome. Ms. Burkhardt, it was an absolute honor to speak with you. And for listeners, if there's any link that you want added to it to get to your music quicker, please let me know and I'll add it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, a Spotify link would be great. And then
Okay.
IG Brandi Burkhardt.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Have a great night.
Good talking to you.